Hello, thank you for joining me in this new video. Today I have the POCO M7 Pro with me and I'm excited to share my thoughts on what I found to be the best and worst aspects of this device after putting it through some tests. Therefore, before you consider purchasing the POCO M7 Pro, it's important to watch this video to get all the details. Let's take a moment to consider its initial launch price. In Mexico, this price has been set at 4,999 pesos. Certainly, it's a very competitive price point. However, there's potential for it to decrease further in price, which would make it an even more spectacular option. Now let's discuss the pros and cons. We'll begin by talking about what I found most appealing. The screen. It's definitely of excellent quality with its 667-inch AMOLED panel, 120 Hz, and a peak brightness of 2100 nits. Well, I don't know what more you could want from a device at this price. Because usually in this category, it's more typical to see IPS screens with refresh rates of 120 or even 144 Hz rather than AMOLED. However, if that still didn't impress you enough, let me tell you that it also supports HDR content. I tested it on both YouTube and Netflix, and you can indeed enjoy that quality content. For those who might not be aware, HDR enables us to see content with a higher degree of realism. This is because the screen can shine more brightly in certain areas while reducing brightness in others, creating a truly spectacular contrast. Having 256 gigabytes of storage and 8 gigabytes of RAM is a nice feature. It's not the slow RAM and storage seen in some devices with lots of space, but slow versions. It includes the Dimensity 7025 processor, not ultra powerful, but for its price range, it allows good gameplay. And its 45 watts charger will significantly improve the charging experience, allowing us to reach 57% in just 30 minutes of charging. However, this device might stand out in other areas as well. For instance, it is quite a lightweight phone, weighing in at 190 grams, with a thickness of 7.99 millimeters. It's protected by Gorilla Glass 5 on the front, and it comes with an IP64 rating to endure splashes. Moreover, it has a pleasing appearance. Saying that a budget cell phone looks attractive is quite rare, so this is definitely a great choice. It even retains the headphone jack, includes infrared to function as a universal remote control, and comes with NFC capabilities. Plus, it supports 5G networks. Well, I really don't think we can expect more from a device at this price range, but now let me share with you what I didn't quite like as much. The battery consistently disappointed across all tests. Whether in extreme training scenarios or during video playback tests, it managed to last only 13 hours and 22 minutes. Given the battery's capacity, this performance is indeed underwhelming. It appears that do not get to experience efficient battery consumption, more over the operating system. If you're planning to continue having advertisements, and there are some inconsistencies present. Although it is true that you can disable the ads, it requires taking several steps. Additionally, there is definitely still duplication of functions or other things. There are some things that don't work as they should. For example, it has an option to supposedly charge faster, but you turn it on and it doesn't change the charging time. So in that case, they should remove that option. Anyway, there are similar details to consider. The front camera is advertised as 20 megapixels, but the actual level of detail it delivers is more comparable to a 5 megapixel camera. So, do not be misled solely by the specifications. It is a front camera that won't be highly competitive, and that's clear. Given the price range, we cannot expect too much. However, it should be understood that even though it is labeled as 20 megapixels, it is not going to perform as you might expect. It also lacks an ultra-wide camera, which I believe is another significant limitation. This is especially important when you consider that, for instance, Samsung typically includes ultra-wide cameras even in devices within this price range. Of course, Samsung might make compromises in other areas, but it's important to emphasize that in terms of cameras, you are quite restricted. When it comes to video recording, you're also somewhat limited. It records in full HD, and the focus might not be as precise or as quick as you'd like. We didn't anticipate anything significantly superior within this price range. However, there are indeed some Motorola devices available that can record in 4K, even within this price range. The proximity sensor is not functioning effectively. It behaves more like a contact sensor, activating only when the phone is positioned in a specific way, making it less useful. Furthermore, the device was released with Android 14, and despite having 2 years of promised updates, you'll almost exhaust them since it is already quite outdated when it arrives from the factory. So for instance, at this moment I have HyperOS 2.0 available to me. However, at this very moment, HyperOS 3.2 is also available, and it is going to be the final update for this software. Their promise regarding updates is essentially just to bring it up to date and nothing more. But, well, if you take into account that it is a budget-friendly device, it makes sense. Nevertheless, I would have preferred if it had come pre-installed with a more recent software version from the factory, ensuring that its promised updates could extend further into the future. But if you've already purchased it, please share your thoughts with us in the comments. Tell us all about your experience with absolutely everything, especially if you've accidentally dropped it. Let us know how it's held up, what you think of the cameras, its performance, and more. At this point, we've come to the end of this video. If you enjoyed it, remember you can let us know, and we'll catch you next time.